Welcome back. If you were with us last week we tore this oven completely apart, got it all vacuumed out and ready to go. So now it's time to put it back together with some new parts, starting with some fresh waveguide tunnels. Alright, we got our bags for our microwave, or our waveguide tunnel covers. So get these guys ready to go, get them installed so they can start curing right away. So when I put these in, I start my one screw in one corner and then just get it started so it can hang on its own. So there it's hanging, and that way I'm not mushing gasket maker all over the top. Pick the opposite corner and then put that one in. And once that one's in, now you're good to go. This may shock you. It's the same on the other side. So I'm not going to film that for you, but just imagine I'm doing the same thing. Realized that was slightly out of frame, but that's what a finished one looks like. I start with this corner. Well, it doesn't really matter which corner. I start with one corner, I go nice and loose, and then so it's still up there, won't fall, but it's kind of flopped at an angle, and then I tighten up the opposite corner, and that gets it good and square. Otherwise, you're going to have it like kind of sliding around, and you'll smear the gasket maker all over the top of the oven. So that's the best way I found it. If you have a different option or a different way you do it, let me know down in the comments. This is what I've done. Does that make it right? No, I've learned that a couple times in my life. But the other one is just the same. Gasket maker up from the bottom, and then we move on to the stir shaft while these are curing. Okay, at this point, I like to get my gaskets put in before. I get excited and forget about them when I get to the final steps, so it's easier if they're in place now, and then I don't have to think about it. Next, stir shaft. And I highly recommend putting this in before you put the waveguides in. The waveguides make this really tight, and it's already a tight spot. Alright, we are on to finishing stuff up in the cook chamber itself. So in my world, I like to get the cook chamber all wrapped up, and then I move on to next fun things. And I'm holding onto the stir shaft right now because otherwise it will spin as you're spinning the screw. Stir shaft, or the stirrer, in place. My camera is where I usually put my head, so this is really helpful. Man, oh man. Fine. And there we go. All Alright, just gotta put the top jet plate in. Rule of thumb with the top jet plate, use the smallest possible screw you can that'll hold, and then work your way up to the largest possible screw. Don't start with the largest possible screw first, because then you're destined to have to condemn this oven, and we don't want to do that. We want to run these as long as we can. So I'm gonna get that top jet plate in, yeah, and I'm not really gonna film that. It's 10 screws that go around it, and then just start with the smallest one and work your way up to the largest screw that we have on our truck. So it's not too bad, but exceptionally boring watching me cycle through screws. So I'll bring you back in once we're back up top. Okay, so we got our waveguide tunnels. I usually peel my tape. I leave my bottom tape on so I don't contaminate them in any way. And I'm going to attach the mags first, and then we'll put the waveguide tunnels in. It's just how I do it. It's easier than trying to get them to fit in. They don't take long. But there's one step we missed. We need to put our overtemps on the front. Now we're ready. There we go, all set to go in. Back first, then front. There we go. One more to go. And don't forget the tape. That'll blend poorly. Alright, now we just have to put all the nuts in and tighten them all down. Stir motor's in, stir motor and stir shaft are in. Waveguide tunnels and mags are in. Now we're gonna get our filaments and our high voltage capacitors in. Alright, side one fully assembled and ready to go. Side duck done and ready to go. So we should be good as far as the mag circuit goes. The only thing left is changing out that 20 amp fuse. And then we're going to rebuild the door. Alright, let's try this again. The first time didn't go as planned. So luckily, I have two. So reason we take the door off, now I can independently pop this hinge and now it's free, where the other side is locked down. If I pop the other side, both will snap up. So that is important. The next step is there's a little C-clip that holds this in place. We do carry the replacement C-clips on our truck. If you lose one, it's not the end of the world, but you know, you only get 10 of them, so I lost that one. And now we got to get this guy off. It's not always as easy as you would think it should be. This one especially may be difficult. It's pretty tired. Yeah. This one may be a problem. So this is why it's important to get them early, because once they start to get really hard, then they become almost impossible to replace, and then you're buying however much a hinge module is, and this thing is rock solid, which is why I'm struggling here. Oh yeah, don't let them get this far, because the store might be buying a hinge module today, which sucks. So typically they'll come out as one piece. So now we are into the struggle busing session. Yeah. Alright, typically they come out in one piece, but this is not on today's agenda. So we're gonna do our best to try to get this guy to move. Oh man. Alright. Give you guys a different angle. See if I can get after it a little bit better. Come on, buddy. You want to. This is why it's super important to get these early. I don't know if we'll be able to save her. Yeah. Alright. Got one piece. Also, that's why you wear safety glasses, especially when you're prying. Like, it didn't get myself, but boy oh boy, that would have hurt. I'm gonna get it. I don't really care what it thinks. One of the two of us is stubborn. I'm not sure which one it's gonna be. It's either gonna be the seized on brass or it's gonna be me. It's me. I am the stubborn one. I refuse to give in. Okay, I'm getting close to giving in. I win. Alright, bearings are between $20 and $40. Hinge module, I'm guessing, is well over $1,000. So, if you can put in a bearing and save yourself many thousands of dollars for that store, you are an unsung hero, and they will not know that you did it. But man, I'll tell you what, that's a huge savings for this store, and they will never know about it, and that's okay, because it's not about having everybody say you're the best, it's about having personal victories. So that is a lost C clip. We're gonna go one less glove, because I don't think I'm gonna get this one with a glove on. Oh, yeah. and then I usually just take my... Dang it. There's gonna be a C-clip graveyard in there. You can recover these if you lose a bunch in there. But I mean, it's gonna cost me more money to go and take that side panel off than it is to just put a new one in it. There we go. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Alright, that's done. Bearings are installed. I bet you that's gonna work a lot better. We gotta get this door put back on. We gotta get this oven back in service. And I gotta get home. So, I am going to get this door on. I'm going to get it all set to go. We'll do a final amp draw. And then I'll show you that. Kind of explain what we're looking at. And we'll go from there. Okay, so we're back after it. We're doing our final testing. I've got a sandwich in the oven. Normally they're not wrapped when we cook them. I just have it in there. You don't want to run a microwave without some sort of load. So I always take like a waste sandwich that's getting thrown away, get it wet, toss it in. That way it has some sort of thing to get used on. We're gonna log into service, go into test mode. First thing we want to look at is our door switches. Make sure our door switches are working correctly. Primary, secondary, monitor. Monitor, secondary, primary. And that's going to cause us some grief right there. The part where the door is not shutting is going to be a problem. So we're going to have to address that. Next thing we want to do is, with the door fully shut, we're going to want to run our megs. We can hear they fired up. And we are sitting at 17.6. So we're fluctuating. So that's looking good. That's about where I would expect it. We're going to shut it off, let it cycle down, and then we're going to start it, and we're watching for a specific thing. And that's what we want to see right there. So we saw 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range. So that's our filament transformers. Our filament transformers fired up right at the beginning. What about 4 amps out of those bad boys? And then they kind of queue up. The way it's explained to me and the way I understand it is, imagine the filament transformers are the baseball and the high voltage transformers are the bat. So we're tossing the ball up with the filaments and hitting it with the mags, which are through the high voltage. So that's how I think about it and how I keep it in mind. So those filaments are pretty important on that startup. So you should always see that 4 amps right away. If you get 0 or 2, then you know 0 would be both are bad, 2 means one of the 2 is bad. And you can just disconnect them to figure out which one is bad. So important to have those functional. So this oven is ready to go. The only thing we have to do is get these door switches squared away, and the primary and secondary, I believe, are on the right-hand side, and you can see they're staying on. So this this oven is gonna sit there and say door open, beep beep beep, door open, and it's gonna be very angry. So we just need to get those adjusted so it's not doing this, and those are just making the fine-tune adjustments on this side to make sure that everybody's lined up correctly. That was most likely due to putting a new door gasket on. So it's important whenever you do a new door gasket, or if you do new switches, most importantly, if you do new switches, do a new door gasket. And that way you can align the door switches to theoretically a perfect new gasket. Otherwise, if you leave the old gasket on, what you'll end up with is getting a call back when the stores inevitably put a new gasket on. So then you'll just get an extra service call. So hopefully this helps you out. Like I said, this is just slapping it back together and pretty much getting it back in this kitchen so I can hit the road. There's a lot to these, but we'll kind of go through, maybe in a Thursday Tech Tips, I'll go through all the individual components and how they relate to the actual guide on this oven and how to handle an F3 mag current air. So watch for that. I'm feeling motivated, so I'll probably do that one. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.